Hey ladies. So hopefully you took some time to identify your triggers, those things that are causing you stress in your life, and identify the foods, the comfort foods that you go to when you're feeling stressed out. So first and foremost, to really conquer stress eating, you really want to try to tackle and deal with the stressor itself, right? This is the root cause of your stress eating. It's not the food, that's just really how we're treating ourselves. So you want to take your list of your triggers and maybe dive a little deeper into that list, and think about really specifically, what is it that's causing me stress in my life, and I suggest that maybe you make a list of the different specific things that are causing stress in your life, and then to start to tackle these stressors and deal with these stressors. Think about what you can do in order to get these stressors out of your life, or at least decrease the amount of stress that these things are causing you, on a very regular basis. And so maybe you ask for some help, looking at this list. Maybe there are some things that a family member or a friend can help you with, and you can take some of these things off the list and you delegate some items, to somebody else and let them take over some of the items that are causing you stress. Or maybe in looking at this list, you realize that there are some things that don't need to be worried about right now. Maybe they're important, but they're not important right now, and they can be put off until later. So maybe they can go, somewhere like below a certain line to be handled later, not forgotten about, but just not right now, right? Let's handle the important stuff first, and maybe we can get some of the other things sort of moved to a later date to help decrease our stress right now. Or you could also always think about practicing saying no. Often we take on a lot of responsibility, especially as women. I think we take on a lot of responsibility. We want to help everybody, which is a great quality, but we can't do it all. And so know that it's okay to say no. When someone asks you for some help or asks you to do something that's going to cause a lot more stress in your life, it's okay to say, you know what, I really do want to help you. I just can't right now. I'm really, really overloaded. But I will, or I'll help you to the extent that I can, but I can't do this fully. So those are some things to think about. Again, really getting at the root cause of your stress. That's going to be the thing that really, really helps you to conquer stress. Now that will take some time, obviously, as you take some time to really identify specifically what those triggers are, and to think about how to deal with those triggers, how to, get those stressors off your plate, or at least to diminish the stress around them. So that will take a little bit of time. So in the meantime, what can you do, right? You're stressed now. You need to know what to do now. So the first thing I recommend is now you know what those comfort foods are. You know what those foods are that you go to automatically. I'm having a crappy work week, I'm going for those chips. They're right there. They're salty, yummy, fatty goodness, and they're right there in my cabinet. Or I'm going to hit up that Haagen-Dazs ice cream or Ben & Jerry's ice cream that's in the freezer because it's right there and I need something, So my first suggestion to tackle that, get those foods out of your kitchen. Get them out of your house. I think when we buy snack foods, and again, for the most part, when we're stress eating, we go for these comfort foods, these snacky foods, the high sugar, high fat, high salt foods. So I think we often buy some and we think, oh, I can just have a little bit here and there. It's not a problem, and maybe for the most part, you can do that, right? You have that willpower to control yourself and really just have a little bit time to time. But when you're stressed, that doesn't work anymore. Willpower just goes right out the window. You might have heard the expression that willpower is fleeting, it's finite. Totally true. It's not something that we can rely on. So if you have been grabbing these foods more often because you're experiencing a high level of stress right now, you need to get them out of the house so that you cannot go grab for them, right? And instead you want to, or get them further away so they're not so accessible. Put them out in the, back of the pantry, in the back of the garage or something like that, where they're not right there, easily accessible, not on the countertop, not the first thing you see when you open the cabinet or the first thing you see when you open the freezer. Get that stuff out, right? Just gonna have to make that move so it's not so easy to grab them when you're stressed out. And instead, think about replacing them with some healthier, more nourishing options. Some delicious fruit, your favorite baby carrots. We want to still talk about like how to deal with the habit of stress eating, and we will talk more about that. But for right now, if you're going to stress eat, or if it happens, right, it's still better to grab an apple and overeat, some apples, or overeat grapes than it is to overeat, a bag of chips. So that's my recommendation. So for today, I suggest that you dive back into those triggers, those stressors, and really think about what they are specifically, and think about ways that you can diminish that stress and decrease some stress, and like action items that you can do to bring the level of stress down. So that's number one. And then number two is to get those comfort foods out of your kitchen. You know what? And I know I'm not a big fan of wasting food, but you know what? If you throw away a bag of chips, it's not really like high quality food anyway, or, so it's okay in my book anyway. It's okay. And if it's going to do you better, and it's a service for you, and it's going to make your life actually better and healthier, then just go ahead and do it. So get those foods out of there. So I would love to hear from you guys, if you're going to follow some of these steps, and if you're going to go for it and actually remove these comfort foods from your kitchen. Let's see some comments below and see how that goes. And we will tackle, the habit of stress eating, because we want to break that cycle. Again, whether you're stress eating, a bunch of chips, or you're stress eating a bunch of carrots, it's that feeling, that we want to deal with, the underlying habit that we were trying to tackle. For today, let's go ahead and work on getting those comfort foods out of there.